It starts with something harmless, a tiny button promising a free trial. No risk, no cost, just curiosity. You click. The screen thanks you, a clock begins counting silently in the background, and you move on with your day. Weeks later, a quiet deduction appears on your bank statement. Small, polite, familiar. You barely notice it, but it stays. That invisible subscription renews again and again. You don't remember saying yes. You only remember how easy it was to start and how strangely difficult it is to stop. This isn't an accident, it's part of the design, and it's everywhere. Imagine a quiet evening. You're scrolling after dinner, half listening to a show in the background. A pop-up catches your eye, something you've been meaning to try. It's free for 30 days, it says. Just a few taps and you can finally watch that movie, read that article, or test that app everyone keeps talking about. You tell yourself you'll remember to cancel before the month's over. You even think about setting a reminder, but it feels unnecessary. After all, it's just 30 days, a whole month. You'll remember. Days pass. You use it once, maybe twice. Life continues. Work, messages, errands. The reminder you never set fades into the noise. Then one morning, you check your email, and there it is. A payment receipt, a small one, almost trivial. You think, I'll cancel it later. But later never feels urgent. The charge is barely noticeable, buried between groceries and coffee runs. Another month passes, another quiet charge. The trial you never meant to keep becomes part of the background hum of your finances. You still tell yourself you'll stop it soon, maybe next week, maybe when you have more time, but that time never comes. The free trial, once innocent, has quietly turned into a permanent tenant in your wallet. The trick isn't in the price, it's in the delay. That 30-day window is carefully chosen, not too short to raise suspicion, not too long to feel dangerous. It gives you just enough comfort to forget it exists. Every element is deliberate. The soft colors, the inviting buttons, the words cancel anytime. They sound generous, but they plant an idea that this is safe, that you can always undo it later. And because it feels reversible, you let your guard down. Then there's the sign-up itself. The form is quick, smooth, almost enjoyable. But the cancellation? Hidden in submenus, surrounded by polite confusion. You're asked to confirm, reconsider, maybe even explain why you're leaving. The process that started with one click now requires thought, patience, and time. The three things you rarely have when you're just trying to cancel something. The true trap isn't the payment, it's invisibility. The moment you click Start Trial, the countdown begins. But it doesn't count toward your attention, it counts toward your forgetfulness. You don't get an alert when the trial ends. You don't get a reminder when it renews. The system doesn't need to trick you. It only needs you to be busy. And that's easy, because in a world full of noise, forgetting something small feels natural. That's where the money lives. Not in deception, but in distraction. The mind likes to believe it's in control. When you click Start Free Trial, you feel like the decision is yours. You're exploring, not committing. The act feels light, almost empowering. It gives you a sense of freedom, not risk. But deep down, the brain doesn't like friction. It chooses the path of least resistance. When the moment comes to cancel, that same brain looks for comfort again. It weighs the effort, the steps, the logins, the remembering, and quietly whispers, maybe later. Each step away from cancellation adds weight. The extra password reset, the unfamiliar settings page, the request to chat with support. These small hurdles don't feel like traps. They feel like inconveniences. But stacked together, they become walls built from your own hesitation. And because the payment is small, it doesn't trigger alarm. It slides beneath your mental radar. The brain files it away as not urgent, the same category as cleaning out an old drawer or unsubscribing from emails. What's more, the world rewards instant decisions. You get what you want now, instantly. But stopping something requires reflection, a pause that modern life doesn't encourage. So the mind keeps moving, avoiding that stillness, avoiding the small discomfort of canceling. The system doesn't push you, it waits for you to drift. The design anticipates that drift, guiding your natural laziness into a quiet loop of payment and forgetfulness. And the scariest part? The brain feels fine about it. It rationalizes. It's just a few dollars. I might use it again. I'll cancel next month. Each excuse feels reasonable in isolation. Together, they create a fog that protects the system from scrutiny. You don't fight it because it doesn't feel like a fight. It feels like nothing at all. The same rhythm repeats everywhere. Streaming platforms promise instant access. Fitness apps offer personalized programs. Productivity tools dangle unlimited potential. They all share the same heartbeat: a trial, a timer, a quiet renewal. Each category learns from the others. Entertainment services perfect the ease of entry. Digital tools master the art of subtle retention. Even products that aren't digital now copy the model: devices, memberships, deliveries. Each one teaches the next how to stay invisible. Some use emotional hooks. They suggest that canceling means losing progress, breaking a streak, abandoning your goals. Others appeal to guilt, asking if you're sure, reminding you that your data will be deleted. Every prompt is a small psychological echo, gently steering you back towards staying. The charges spread like seeds. A few dollars here for storage, a few there for premium access. Each one is tiny enough to ignore, yet together they form a quiet network of withdrawals that stretches across your entire financial life. Even free products borrow the same pattern. They trade your time, your data, your attention instead of money. You click accept, and the trial begins. Only this time, you pay in information. And just as before, the reminders never come. The cycle continues, not through deception, but through mastery of routine. They've studied the rhythms of modern life, the way your focus scatters, how your patience shortens, how your memory blurs between tasks. What used to be a rare marketing trick has become an ecosystem, an invisible economy built on moments you forget. Every time you think you've escaped it, another trial appears, smiling, generous, familiar. It doesn't matter what it offers. The pattern is the same: effortless in, effortful out. You aren't the target of a scam. You're the customer of a system that profits from forgetfulness. And that system never forgets you. Over months, the amounts merge into one another. $10 here, $8 there, a handful of automatic renewals you no longer recognize. The numbers don't hurt individually, but together they form a quiet current pulling from your account every month. You don't feel it at first, but slowly that current grows strong enough to shape habits. You stop checking small charges. You stop noticing them. Your sense of control over money fades, replaced by an uneasy tolerance for being drained in fragments. Then there's the emotional weight. Each forgotten payment becomes a faint reminder of neglect. You feel a dull guilt, not sharp enough to act on, but constant enough to linger. It's not about the money anymore. It's about the discomfort of knowing you let something slip. That feeling compounds, just like the payments. The trial that once felt like freedom becomes a symbol of quiet dependence. The system takes, you ignore, and somewhere between the two, you start to feel smaller. By the time you finally notice the total, it's not a single charge that stings. It's the realization that you were never really paying attention. And maybe that was the most expensive part. One day, without meaning to, you start noticing. Not in anger, not in outrage, just small flickers of awareness. You scroll through your bank app and your eyes pause, recognizing familiar names. You see them not as services, but as stories you've forgotten. Each one began with curiosity and ended in silence. You start to sense the rhythm, the timing, the repetition. You begin to understand that these patterns aren't personal mistakes. They're invitations you were never meant to remember declining. Something changes in how you see the word free. It no longer feels open. It feels conditional, like a door that only swings one way. The next time a trial appears, you hesitate, not because you're suspicious, but because you feel the weight of how easy it would be to forget. The brightness of the Start Now button looks a little too eager, the countdown a little too quiet. This isn't resistance, it's awareness, a quiet shift in how you move through these offers. You still explore, still try new things, but something in you remains alert, like a light left on in the corner of your mind. You begin to realize that the most valuable thing you can pay with isn't money, it's attention, and that's exactly what every free trial is built to take. The system doesn't need your permission, it only needs your silence. Each time you forget, it grows stronger, learning your rhythms, waiting for the next lapse, the next distraction. The payments will keep coming, soft and invisible, disguised as convenience. They'll whisper the same promise: cancel anytime. And maybe you will. But for most, it ends the same way it began, with a click, a shrug, and a thoughtless later. The free trial was never really free. It only borrowed your attention long enough for you to lose track of it. And when you finally remember, it's not the money you miss. It's the feeling of being aware.